Common mistakes people over 50 make when treating melasma. When it comes to melasma, the first thing many people ask is there a cream that can erase it quickly? And I get it. We've lived more than half a lifetime. We've been patient with work, with children, with health issues. Sometimes we just want one thing in life to be fixed right away. But unfortunately, with melasma, that desire for speed is exactly the trap. Believing in quick fix whitening creams. You've seen the ads. Erase melasma in 7 days. Brighter skin overnight. Those promises sound sweet like candy. But just like candy, they give you a quick taste of sweetness and then leave you with long-term consequences. I once met Mary, 62, who carried a whole bag filled with jars of these instant miracle creams. Yes, her skin looked a bit brighter, but it was also thin red and sensitive. And after just a few weeks of stopping the creams, her melasma came back darker than before. The price of rushing, sometimes it's long-lasting damage. Skipping sunscreen indoors. Another mistake, small but serious. Many people think sunscreen is only for when you're outside. But sunlight sneaks in through windows. The light from your computer screen, from your lamps, all of it can affect the skin. One patient once told me, I stay home all day. Why am I still getting melasma? And I replied, because sunlight doesn't knock on the door to come in. It's already inside your house. Using strong products without guidance. In the hope of clearing melasma fast, some people buy powerful products like high-strength hydroquinone or retinoids without a doctor's supervision. The result? Their skin thins, the protective barrier breaks down. And once that wall is gone, melasma doesn't disappear. It comes back faster and darker. I remember Elaine, 68, who cried in my office. Her face was peeling and red after using harsh peeling products her friend had recommended. She told me I just wanted to look beautiful again. But now when I look in the mirror, I only see someone more tired than before. A question for you. Have you ever wondered why it's so easy to believe promises like 7 days, yet so hard to stay patient with small, steady habits each day? Maybe what we really need isn't a miracle, but consistency. The lesson, what I've learned after decades as a doctor, is this melasma never disappears overnight. If you want real change, you have to see it as a journey, caring for both the outside and the inside patiently day after day. Because melasma isn't just pigment on your skin, it's part of the history your body has written. And to rewrite history, you can't rush. Moving forward, in the next part, I won't just talk about mistakes. I'll show you gentle, practical solutions you can start at home. Small, steady steps, the real key to slowly unlocking those dark marks on your face. Home solutions. Gentle, but long-lasting results. When it comes to melasma, many people wish for a magic wand that can erase it all. But the truth is, miracles don't come from an expensive jar of cream. They come from small, consistent habits day after day. And the good news is, you can start right at home. Basic skincare, the very first step, cleansing and moisturizing. It sounds so simple, yet I've seen many patients do it the wrong way. Some wash their face 3-4 times a day, thinking it will scrub away the melasma. Others use harsh foaming cleansers that strip the skin, leaving it dry and unprotected. The truth is, after 50, gentleness is the key. A mild cleanser used twice a day is enough. Follow with a good moisturizer to lock in hydration. Patients often ask me, Doctor, should I use high-strength retinol if you're 30 maybe? But after 50, the skin is thinner, more sensitive. It's wiser to choose gentler options like niacinamide or low-strength vitamin C. They're like a soft melody, not loud, but steady, gradually evening out your skin tone over time. Protecting the skin. Here's a truth not many like to admit. Sunscreen is more important than melasma cream. I often tell my patients, if you forget sunscreen, every other product you use is pointless. Skin after 50 is fragile. So when choosing sunscreen, look for SPF 30 or higher broad-spectrum protection against UVA and UVB and fragrance-free formulas that won't irritate. One of my patients, Joanne, 65, told me, just by using sunscreen every day, I noticed my skin stopped getting darker. It didn't erase my spots, but it stopped the aging process in its tracks. And sometimes simply stopping the damage is already a big win. Nutrition. Our body is the garden, and the skin is the flower. If the soil isn't healthy, how can the flower bloom? So what kind of soil does the skin need? A diet rich in antioxidants. Think of oranges, kiwis, strawberries bursting with vitamin C, which helps block melanin and supports collagen production. Or salmon and flax seeds rich in omega-3s that nourish the skin from the inside out. A study from the American Institute of Nutrition showed that consistent vitamin C intake can significantly improve skin pigmentation in just 3 months. Which means you don't need fancy products. Even a simple plate of fruit each day can change your skin. Lifestyle and sleep. Have you ever noticed how after a sleepless night, your skin looks darker, more tired? Sleep is the body's natural spa gifted to us every single night. To sleep better, try a few small habits, a slow 15-minute walk in the evening, a few deep breaths before bed, and a dark, quiet room free from screens. One of my patients, David 72, adopted the habit of evening walks and putting away his phone an hour before bedtime. Over time, his skin looked brighter and his sleep deeper. He told me, "I'm not just sleeping anymore. I feel like I'm being healed every night." Natural remedies. I know many people love trying natural ingredients, aloe vera, turmeric with honey green tea. And yes, they can help support the skin. Aloe soothes turmeric, contains curcumin, which reduces inflammation, and green tea is full of antioxidants. But I must also remind you, natural doesn't always mean completely safe. Overuse or using them the wrong way can cause irritation. It's like tea. You enjoy 1 cup a day for health, but drinking a whole pot every night will only disrupt your sleep. A reflection. So are you ready to stop chasing instant fixes and instead begin with small, gentle, sustainable changes? Because maybe the real secret to lasting brightness isn't some miracle product, but the consistency of simple habits. Caring for your skin after 50 is not a sprint. It's more like a long walk, steady, patient, step by step. And each small step brings you closer to healthier, clearer skin. But sometimes, even with patience and home care, melasma can be stubborn. So when should we consider medical treatments? And how do we make sure we choose safely? Let's move on to the next part. Medical solutions. When should you consider them? By now, you might be wondering, "Doctor, if I've already been consistent with home care, eating well, sleeping better, wearing sunscreen every day, and the melasma is still there. Is there something stronger I can try?" The answer is yes. But in this part is important. It's not a path you should walk alone. It requires the guidance of a dermatologist, someone with the knowledge and the tools to intervene safely. Peels, lasers, prescription treatments. In medicine, there are several options that can help with melasma. Chemical peels using special solutions to remove dead cells and encourage the skin to regenerate. Done correctly, it leaves skin brighter and more even. Lasers, concentrated beams of light that target excess pigment without damaging the surrounding skin. Prescription creams like controlled doses of hydroquinone or doctor-prescribed retinoids. But remember, these are not magic wands. They are tools. And they only work when used at the right time for the right person in the right way. A patient's story. I clearly remember Anna, 55. She was one of the most disciplined patients I've ever met. 2 years of clean eating, early nights, sunscreen, every single day. Yet the melasma on her cheeks barely faded. So we decided to try a gentle chemical peel paired with the lifestyle she had already been so committed to. 6 months later, the results were impressive. Her melasma was reduced by about 60%, her skin brighter and more even. But what touched me most was what she told me. What makes me happy isn't just that my skin looks clearer. It's that I've rediscovered patience. I've realized caring for my skin is like tending a garden. It takes the gardener's hand and sometimes the right tools to help along the way. A reflection. Sometimes we don't need a stronger solution to replace daily habits. We simply need it as a supportive hand to lift us up when patience alone feels too heavy. Medical treatments are not an escape from consistency, they're partners to it. The lesson. What I want you to remember is this: medical interventions are only truly safe when guided by a professional. I've seen too many people go for cheap laser sessions or harsh peels at low-quality spas, only to come back with skin even more damaged, melasma even deeper. Think of these treatments like a long journey. You need a map, you need a guide. Only then is the road safe and the results lasting. And that brings us to an even more important question: when should you actually see a doctor? Because not all dark spots are harmless. Some come with warning signs. Sometimes what looks like melasma could be your body signaling a deeper health issue. We'll talk about that next. There's something I always remind my patients: not every dark patch on the skin is just melasma. Most of the time, yes, it's harmless. A story written by age, by sunlight, by shifting hormones. But sometimes behind those spots lies a deeper warning from the body. When a spot no longer looks normal, if you notice a patch changing in unusual ways, shifting from brown to deep black, or mixed with red speckles, that's no longer a simple sign. If it comes with itching, burning, bleeding, or even ulceration, your body is telling you, pay attention to me. I remember Frank, 71. He came to my clinic thinking the melasma on his cheek was just another sign of aging. But after examining him, I found an area that had already turned into precancerous skin. Luckily, he caught it early and received timely treatment. He told me, I never thought a dark spot could be something this serious. When melasma spreads too quickly, melasma usually develops slowly, like sentences written carefully in the skin's diary. But if you see it spreading rapidly within just a few months, that's a signal you should never ignore. The skin is the body's largest organ, and it reflects inner health. When something changes too suddenly, it can mean your body is facing a much bigger issue. A reflection. Have you ever thought that your face isn't only a reflection of age, but also a mirror of your inner health? Maybe instead of just trying to cover it up, we should learn to listen to the messages our skin is sending us. The lesson. The lesson here is simple. Learn to distinguish ordinary melasma from warning signs. A harmless spot usually stays put, only darkening or fading slightly over time. But when it changes color, bleeds, ulcerates, or spreads quickly, that could be an early sign of skin cancer. And with those warning signs, don't hesitate. See a doctor. Because sometimes delay comes with a very heavy price. And after all these warnings, you may be asking yourself, is there still hope for me to enjoy life, to feel beautiful in this skin? The answer is absolutely yes. Because even though melasma can be frustrating, it can also be a reminder that we still have the chance to care for ourselves, to slow down, and to live more fully. In the next part, I want to share with you an inspiring story about someone who regained her confidence, her glow, and even her joy after the age of 60. Maybe after all this analysis, you're still asking yourself, do I still have a chance to feel confident again? To feel beautiful at this age? I want to share with you the story of Margaret, a 63-year-old patient I met 2 years ago. Margaret's story. The day she walked into my clinic, her face was covered with dark patches of melasma, her eyes tired and heavy. She told me softly with sadness in her voice, "Doctor, I used to be so confident, but now I don't even want to look in the mirror anymore." We sat together, and instead of handing her a prescription right away, I asked, "Are you willing to start with small changes every single day?" She agreed, and our plan was beautifully simple. Apply sunscreen every morning, even when staying indoors. Go to bed before 11 p.m. consistently every night. Eat more greens, vitamin C-rich fruits, cut back on sugar and alcohol, and spend 15 minutes each afternoon walking slowly around her garden. There was no magic, no 7-day cure, just small steps repeated day after day. 1 year later, when Margaret returned a year later, I could hardly recognize her. The melasma had faded noticeably, her skin looked brighter and more even. But more than that, her eyes sparkled again. She smiled and said, "I didn't think I could look young again. But I do feel fresher, and that makes me happy." Science can explain it. Sunscreen prevents new damage, quality sleep helps the skin repair itself, and clean nutrition provides antioxidants. But what impressed me the most wasn't the science, it was her patience. A reflection. Sometimes what we really need isn't an expensive treatment. It's simply consistency in small habits. And maybe beauty after 60 isn't about erasing every trace of time, but about knowing how to shine in the present moment. The lesson. Margaret's story reminds us melasma can be managed. You don't have to defeat aging, you just need to learn how to live in harmony with it. Care for your body, respect your skin, and give yourself the gift of patience. Then beauty shows itself not only in clearer skin, but in your eyes and in the confidence of your smile. And now I want to leave you with one final message. Something I believe every person over 50 needs to hear, not just for their skin, but for their life. So let's move into the final part, a message of encouragement and a call to action. So we've walked together on quite a long journey through the inner causes, the external triggers, the common mistakes, and the gentle home solutions. And by now, you've probably realized melasma isn't caused by a single reason. It's the result of many factors woven together inside and out. It's the story of hormones, of sunlight, of sleep, of the meals we eat, and even the quiet stresses we carry in our hearts. A simple truth. The good news is, you don't have to change everything in one day. Just start with small steps, apply sunscreen each morning, drink an extra glass of water, take a slow 15-minute walk. Go to bed an hour earlier or add an orange to your daily meals. Small things repeated over time create big changes. I've seen this with many of my patients, and I believe you can see it in yourself too. One woman once told me, "Doctor, I used to think melasma was the end of beauty, but now I see it as a comma, a pause, a chance to breathe, and a reminder to care for myself better." Perhaps that's what I want you to remember. Melasma is not the end. It's simply a reminder that it's time to return to yourself with more gentleness, with more patience. A reflection. So are you ready to turn small habits into gifts for your skin and for your health? Have you tried any of these solutions yourself? And what changes have you noticed? I would truly love to hear your story in the comments below. After 50, we no longer race against time. We learn to walk slower, to savor each step, each small change. And it is that patience which becomes the secret to healthier skin and a calmer soul. If you found this video helpful, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so we can continue walking this journey together, keeping both our health and our skin strong after 50. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and loved ones who may also need it. Because sometimes a small reminder can spark a big change.